Violence against children is on the increase. I think this is the time for us to wake up from our sleep. Parents, guardians, and the society at large. Children are dying. Children are crying. What is violence? We don't even know. Okay, I got a request asking us to bring someone who can speak on violence against children. You know how we do it. This is Fulfillment with YK, the program that solicits. We connect you to your dreamland. But before I do that, let me quickly go on this break. When I come back, I will introduce my guest to you. Welcome back. It's still Fulfillment with YK. It's another sensitive topic today and is violence against children. I got a request from a woman, Mrs. Abiodun. Mrs. Abiodun is asking us to bring someone who can speak much about violence against children. I have a barrister with me. He's not only a barrister, but he is also the executive director of Child Rights Awareness Creation Organization. Barrister, welcome to my studio.
Thank you very much.
Okay, please, will you kindly introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Evans Ufeli.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer, barrister, and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. I'm also into, child rights awareness campaign. Within our organization, we fight for the rights of children in society, especially in Nigeria, or in Africa, where the rights of children is trampled upon severely by elders.
Okay.
Because the adults really that violate the rights of children. And because children are innocent, they are impressionable, they are intelligent, they are just trying to grab to understand what the world looks like. It is our duty as adults to make sure that they have a good upbringing, because in psychology it is said that between 0 to 12 is the formative years of a child. Okay. And whatever gets into a child between 0 to 12 defines his life between 0 to 26. And whatever gets into him between 0 to 26 defines his life in the next 80 years. So whatever during the formative years of a child, whatever has come into the child, when the child is already an adult, you cannot even pray it out. You can't even go to the mountain, go to everywhere, you can't take it out, because the formatives, when the child's mind is forming, 0 to 12, whatever you give to that child, the type of care, the kind of education, the kind of exposure, the kind of intellection you build through resources into the child at that level will define the rest of his life. And that is why we call on parents, okay, to make sure that they deploy resources to children when they're in their formative years, because that is where their mind is transforming. That is when their mind is defined. And that is the objective of our organization, to use the law as an instrument to define the right of the child, and also explain to society why the right of the child is paramount. The future of Nigeria, the future of Africa is resident in the life of a child. So if the child is battered at the formative, then the future of Africa, the future of Nigeria is battered. Mm-hmm. But if the formative years of a child is cared for and there's fulfillment at that level, then the future is fulfilled. Oh. So that is the idea, that is the objective of our organization.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Okay, let's go to this. Your organization, is it an NGO? Let's talk about that.
Yes, it's a non-governmental organization, meaning that it is privately owned. So what we do is just to make sure we empower children in society. We go out to look after children who are out of school. As I speak to you, there are over 18 million Nigerian children out of school, for which over 86% of them are from the north. So we are working on that also. But mind you, the Nigerians should understand first that when we're talking about child right and child right, who is a child first of all? According to the Child Rights Act, that is the law that regulates the activities of children and how children should be cared for in society, it's called the Child Rights Act. According to that act, anybody who is below the age of 18 downwards is a child. Okay, so whatever happens to that law is applicable to people who are below 18. Okay, and the definition of the law okay, is one, to empower the child. Okay, if you look at it from section 2 to section 15 of that law, there are layers of rights of the child. That the child, have a right to life. He has a right to education. He has a right to a name. So if you have a child, you don't name the child, you're already violating the law. Yes, he has a right not to be used for prostitution, not to be used for hard labor, not to be sent to the street to work. The child has a right not to be used to peddle psychotropic and narcotic drugs. A child should not be used to smuggle illegal material across border. A child should not be trafficked. They are all in the law. A child should not be marked.
Oh,
yes, when people say abiku, when you mark a child, it's 1 month imprisonment. That's the penalty. Tattoo, mark, they say, what do you call it? Is it a share they call it or something? They say they are abiku. They say they are from the river. They say they are from here and there, and they use razor to cut them. It's an offense. It's criminal. It's punishable by imprisonment. Now, children have a right to not to be betrothed. In some part of Nigeria, children are betrothed at the age of 2. A child is just 2 years old. You have a man already. That child must get married. That is betrothal. The penalty for that is 5 years imprisonment. Anyone who marries a child, anyone who is below the age of 18 has committed an offense. The penalty is 5 years imprisonment. Okay, so the Nigerian society, we need to understand that most of the things we do to children, most of the abuse we do to children, a time has come when we need to expose it to society. For society to know that most of it, sometimes you have a teacher who uses verbal abuse against a child. A parent using verbal abuse against verbal abuse, I mean using negative words. I'm talking we're looking at the formative years of a child. The law takes care of the formative. Do not use verbal abuse against a child. You see, psychologically it impacts on the life of the child. It impacts on his future. Okay? Don't use a child for criminal activity. All these are the embodiments of the law. And the society we are in is a primitive society. Nigeria is a primitive society, unfortunately. Nigeria is a society where they say women and children are meant to be seen and not heard. Okay, by the way, let me add that my organization also cares for women and children, specifically defending the rights of women, defending the rights of children, promoting the child. Because when you see politicians stealing money, involved in trafficking, okay, money laundering and all that, you want to caution them. You want them to go to jail. You want EFCC to arrest them. You want them to bundle them. You are trying to correct them. And that you cannot correct them.
Okay.
That is why corruption cannot cease here. But if we go back to the children, yes, if we can deploy the resources we are deploying, okay, to curb criminality, if we deploy it early enough, we are going to have a very smooth society. In the 90s, the Scandinavian countries, Netherlands, Finland, they deploy resources to take care of the younger generation. As I speak to you now, in Finland, their prisons, they have no inmates again in the prisons. So they had to shut down many of their prisons and also deploy workers from prison authority to other parts because they took time to take care of the children, the formative years of the child. And now they are grown up, they have really diffused into positivity. And then society is growing at that pace. And then they have peace. There's no terrorism there. There's no robbery in Finland. There's no petty crime. Okay. We just have scanty criminals, relegated to few correction centers, not even prisons. Because of the kind of resources. That is what Nigeria should do. Do you know why we have insurgency in the north? If you go to the north, you'll find the Amajiri culture, where everybody is out of school. Okay, the child at 2, they give him a plate, they put a hole on it, put in his neck, and the child go out to beg. You understand? He has, since he was born, he has never gone through the 4 walls of a university or a primary school, a nursery school. So when these insurgents come, they gather them, teach them the religion, and then tell them that this is what you should do so that you get to paradise. So they absorb it because there's no other form of information inside them other than that. So it's easy to become an insurgent in that way. So the only way you can curb it is to redefine the country. Take the Child Right Act, implement it in all the states, adopt it in all the states, and let the Child Right Act become the fulcrum for which children are groomed in Nigeria. If you do that, then you now have a definite society, a society that is defined by law, a society that follows order of international best practice, a society that can stand the test of time. If we don't do that, we can keep budgeting money every year. Okay, look at the 2016 budget, for example. 140 billion for insecurity. Okay? And 500 and something billion for education. You see the gap? It's because they neglected education. That's why they are paying more for security.
For security now.
Because if you take care of education and fix the formatives, the normative value of society is anchored on education. Plato said education is the ornament of prosperity and refuge in adversity. So by the time you fix education, then you have less to worry as regards security. Section 14, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, says it is hereby accordingly declared that sovereignty belongs to the people, through which government derives her legitimacy. That the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. The security and welfare, you see the two pillars, security and welfare of the child, of the people, okay, empowering the child with that welfare package at the early stage. And that is what will define the purpose of government. Because if government do that, then society will not. That is why it is not just, the responsibility is not just on parents. Okay? The responsibility also spill over to government. Why the parents take care of the informal education of the child before the child is sent to a formal school. At the informal education, the child is at home, he learns how to greet, how to take care of the home chores, how to do all that. That's the informal level. Before you send the child to a formal school. You understand? But what happened here is that the child has, undergone informal education in the home. He now know how to greet another, now how to take care of the chores. You now send him to a formal school that is not equipped. So you take the child from an organized home unit to chaos. Then that is a problem. So you are supposed to have a strong institution, a strong formal educational facility, so that the child exits the informal sector, is going to the formal sector to meet something better. Okay. So that from there, he's going to meet something stronger and better. Then you have tame and control the excesses of the child. So when he comes out in society, he comes out as a total man endowed. But where those facilities are not there, you create problems for society, and society keeps degenerating, and people are trying to, solve the problem from the up.
From the up.
It is from the child. That is what our organization stands for.
Okay, no problem. I'm really enjoying this, but let's quickly go on this quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Fulfillment with Yinka, and I still have the barrister in the house. Okay, barrister, let's look at this. What can parents do to contribute to things like this?
What the parents should do is to take on their responsibility effectively.
Okay.
First of all, you have children in homes where the mandate of the parents is care. Parents should be caregivers. The way they can contribute to the child and at a larger scale society is to take absolute care of the child. But this is not found everywhere in every home. There are homes where the father does not provide for the home front. So the children are left to chances. The children are sometimes the breadwinner. The children are asked to go and sell pure water. That's forced labor. It's criminal. You send the child to go and hawk, it's forced labor. It's criminal. Now when the child gets out there, the child gets into society, he gets to understand that society is about pain. That human existence, the formation of his mind, is geared towards the fact that human existence is about pain. That is where the child begins to purify. The child begins to steal in order to eat. The child is mocked because he has no source of sustenance. He is too young to bear for himself. You have pushed him to even care for the entire family. So parents should, as much as possible, Okay, try as much as possible to give care to the children from the home front. Then two, they should try as much as possible perhaps to reduce the number of children. I know this is controversial. Africa, Nigerians, they will say, no, 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 why is it saying that children are a gift from God? We understand that children are a gift from God. But we also understand that it is better you have children within your capacity, within your resources, so that you can care for them. Because if you have them more than what you can care for, you are creating problem not just for yourself but for the larger society. Okay, that's what parents can do. Parents should also ensure that their children are, sent to school. It is critical that no matter how bad things are, your child must be in school, because that is the only way that you can form him. That is the only way you can give him a future and a legacy. Parents should also stay away from superstition. There's a state in Nigeria where you go and see they take some children, keep them in lock them up somewhere, say they are witch, okay, they subject them to hardship, keep them in rooms for weeks without food, without water. Sometimes they die, sometimes they take them to religious homes to do some kind of deliverance. Nigeria is a place where you have some culture that also promote this, that children are witches and all. I have traveled with some lawyers to a particular state where the two of the children that are accused to be witches were kept in a place, and they have lost nutrition, they have lost nutrients, they are now almost dying. You understand? So I had to confront one of the women. What is all this? And they said the children are witch. And I could say, who is a witch? These children, you gave birth to them, they passed through you, and they are witch. What are you? You see, we must try as much as possible, okay, to also create maybe adult education for some parents who have the tendency, who have no education, who have the tendency to believe in superstitions. And we should also make sure that some of this religious coloration and implication. Nigeria, when you talk religion in Nigeria, everybody prepares for war. You understand? And I don't understand why a child should attack the people. It is criminal again. Okay, so parents should develop capacity. Okay, those that are not educated should try as much as possible to do so. State governors should organize perhaps evening classes on how to take care of children, how to build society, how to make things better. And parents should also try as much as possible to extend their reasoning. Okay, they should maybe read one or two materials on how to take care of children and all that, so that society can grow. Because if we don't do this, if parents don't do this, then we are going to have a problem. That's the responsibility of parents. On the side of government, they must take the responsibility of creating awareness, okay, on child planning, okay. Also create awareness on education, adult education, to help them, empower them. They should also, empower the schools and the teachers, okay, and also create incentives for schooling so that children who are out of school can have access to school, perhaps create free meal, free vocational studies, and create programs that will make learning exciting to people so that children, yes, can key into this. Education is a hallmark of the growth of society. Society is defined by the quality of the social human capital. You understand? When you have a society where the larger population of society are illiterate, you are not going to have you may not be able to leave your house to the next street. Because what you have are people who have not developed their inner faculty. And if a man has not developed his inner faculty, a man is just like an animal. Even when people have developed their inner faculty, they still behave like animals, let alone when they have not done anything about it. So I think the responsibility of parents even go beyond this. They should also try as much as possible to notice the talent in their children, okay, and maybe enroll them in vocational studies, put them in places where they can develop themselves and contribute positively to society.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah. Okay, now let's look at all these laws that you mentioned. People are violating it every day. Are they being brought to book?
Well, the laws will not enforce it itself. Okay? when the laws are violated, what we should do, society should try as much as possible to write petition against adults who violate the rights of children. I know that as regards child trafficking, some state government or many of the state governments have taken decisive decision on child trafficking, okay, and also violence against children. I know in Lagos State, there is a law now, against, domestic violence against women and children. Okay, so these are baby steps, and these are steps that will grow into, a bigger deal someday. But the fulcrum of this discourse is that having notes the fact that the rights of children are being violated, every day. First of all, parents should purchase a copy of the Child Rights Act. Okay, it is sold across cities. Get the Child Rights, because some parents don't even know it's an offense sometimes. So yes. So they should get the Child Rights and read it and understand, because it's written in English, so they can know what is an offense. Okay, then those who violate the rights of children must be punished. Okay, situations where children are kept under people's care and the children are subjected to different kind of hard labor. Some of the female children are raped,
abused.
you understand? They are defied. Okay, and this is a big problem in society. It happens often.
Yes.
In all communities, and when it happens, society represses it. Society will make sure that the culprit is not brought to book, and that is wrong for our society. I've had situations where I have, written petition to go against rapists in communities, and you find sometimes the bailiffs, sometimes the chiefs, they will come together and assume jurisdiction to hear a rape matter. It is criminal on that society. It's an offense, because rape is a criminal offense. It's not a family affair. It's not a communal affair. It's a criminal offense. So once it happens, the community cannot resolve it. We must report to the police. The police must prosecute, and the victim must be taken to the law court and sentenced and convicted accordingly when found guilty. You understand? So when they violate this law, the same society that cries out to say that people are committing offense is the same society, okay, that covers up the offense. They will say it's our uncle, it's our brother, we are related. Well, that a rapist is a rapist. A pedophile is a pedophile. Okay? In some culture, they even encourage the act of the pedophile culture. At age 6, you see a child in the north, in a place like Kano, at age 10, a child has 6 children. So a parent should be careful and watch out. And also try as much as possible to stay less more outside without their children, so that they can monitor and oversee what happens. Remember, we said at the beginning of this broadcast that it is from the formative that the problem occurs. When you go out and see prostitutes here and there, when you trace the origin of what they are doing is the effect. The cause, the cause is somewhere hidden. Okay, perhaps they were abused or defiled at their formatives, and society repressed it. So society in a way has reproduced chaos, and then you have it in society. The whole of Africa, we have one case or the other of child abuse in the whole of Africa. Section 18 and Section 16 of the African Charter on Women and People's Rights have also stated it in black and white that the rights of women and children must be preserved, must be protected, must be respected. That the government must try as much as possible to promote programs, to promote and to put in effort to make sure that that is taken care of, because the child and the woman is the reason why the earth still subsists. A lot of women don't know that the cosmic operation of the universe is resident in the woman. That is why the woman is likened to the earth, Mother Earth. So it's the woman. Human existence have subsisted because women are caregivers. Humans, the creation of God passed through women. So when a society batters women and children, the society is gradually being forced into extinction. Until society comes to that realization that it is the right of women and children that promotes the well-being of society. That is why in the West, the United Kingdom, the United States, there is a way you don't even talk to a woman.
Yes.
Let alone raising your hands.
And yes.
You will go to jail the rest of your life. And you will pay the mortgage.
Oh,
the mortgage you left. You look at their divorce system. You divorce a woman, she lives large in the house. Because the court will see the house to her and ask you to find your way. So you go, and while you are hustling out there to rebuild your life, you will use it to pay the mortgage for which you complete it for the woman. So that is a society. If you look at how prosperous, it is wisdom. It's prosperous because the society understands that women and children defines the pace of progress anywhere in the world. You, as an African man, you can disagree. It's your business, really, but it's the truth. If you check through religious reads, scriptures, Quran, you will see the delicate understanding and procedures and procurement for which the Holy Read preserve. These are the things you should do to a woman. These are the things you shouldn't do to a woman. This is what the woman represents. Okay? You understand? So, if society don't understand that children, women, builds the best of society in the world, then that society will keep looking for where their problem is coming from. Okay. Just as we are looking for where our problem is coming from here, because we do not understand that this is what we need to do. So, this is a call on the government to redefine the policy structure of the country and possibly empower the Ministry of Women Affairs, because you just have it as a skeleton. We just budget small money for them. The money is sometimes embezzled. But if it becomes as serious as foreign policy, if we take Ministry of Women Affairs as serious as foreign policy, we take it as serious as any other thing, you will find out that an empowered woman, there is a way the children of an empowered woman look. I can guarantee you that. You don't have to believe me. If a woman who is empowered, if you see her children, you will know. You will see that their formative has been secured. Yes. So what stops us from, endowing and empowering the woman so that it will have a total reflection on the children, so that society will be secured from the formative. That is why I started this from saying that the formative years of a child is critical. And there is no way you can guarantee that without empowering a woman. When you empower a woman, it reflects on the child. And then the formative years is secured, and then society is blossom. Now, I'm not saying men should be thrown to the dustbin, but I'm saying that men should understand that this is how society works. This is the formation of modern society, and that is how society can go.
I love that. Thank you very much. Okay, viewers, I am sure you really enjoyed this segment with us, and we are now going to dance therapy. But before then, let's quickly go on this break. We will be right back. Okay, welcome back. It's still Fulfillment YK, and we are on the segment where we see the other side of our guests, where they get to move and shake their body. It's dance therapy session, and I won't let the barrister go without doing this with me. Okay, let's go. Okay. I can see the barrister cannot do this. This is where we are going to be saying goodbye till we see you sometime next week. Barrister, thank you very much for coming.